You're listening to Kate Palmer from sparkletart.com, and today my video is going to be broken into 3 parts because there's a fair bit to it and I'm a little worried it might get a bit long. In this, the third and final clip in this little series of clips for Lindy's Stamp Gang, I'll show you how to turn a metal embellishment into something that looks like it's vintage enameled metal, something really cool. So I've got this cute little paper clip, bulldog clip from Tim Holtz, and it's a sort of a silvery colour. I'm going to be using 3 Lindy's Stamp Gang embossing powders in Byzantine bronze, midnight bronze, and obviously black to make this a completely different colour. And by the time I'm finished, it's going to look like aged metal. Now, my little tiny bulldog or paper clip is small enough to fit into the embossing jar, which makes things pretty quick and simple for me. If you're using this technique on a larger piece of metal or a larger embellishment, then you can just tip the embossing powder over the surface and catch it underneath and take it away before it gets heated up. For me, I can just dip the clip straight into the embossing powder jar. Simple. Now, you're going to want to use some tweezers to hold your embellishment. Heat the embellishment with your heat gun or embossing tool, making sure not to burn your fingers. Now, as you can see, I'm dipping my embellishment into the obviously black to start with and then reheating it. While it's still warm, add a tiny amount of Byzantine bronze and midnight bronze, just little sort of sprinkles into the obviously black, and heat these with the embossing gun again. This will break up the black and give you sort of little sparkly bits, little hints of colour. Now, if it's looking a little bit too sparkly and not grungy enough, just carefully add a little bit more of the obviously black powder over the top. Now, don't dip it in like we did last time, just sprinkle while it's warm so that you end up just covering a few of those little sparkly metallic bits. Heat it again. Now, grab it by a bit that you won't see when it's finished. Give it one more blast with the heat gun so you don't get any dimples or pucker marks from where you've been holding it, and you've got a beautiful vintage embossed metal embellishment. Now, I have double checked, you can still open this after it's been embossed. So even though it looks all gummy and all covered, it's still usable. And this is where I've used it on my finished tag. So this is the combination of all 3 techniques I've just shown you. So it's the vintage background, the vintage gothic grungy texture, and that beautiful vintage enameled or faux enameled piece of metal. Now, I finished it off by adding some matte black paint as an stencil, a matte black embellishment, and I've kept all my things really simple. I haven't used any different colours. The only extra glitter I've added in there is some stickles, just so that that flower has a bit more bling. The background and the foreground just work beautifully together because all the colours coordinate. I haven't introduced any new colours at all, so there's nothing that makes it look too busy. And I've kept all of my little embellishments in the same colours as my background and in sort of colour blocked look to it, so nothing too busy. So if you'd like to see how I created the vintage background or the vintage grungy texture, I've added links to the other 2 clips in this little series just in the information section at the bottom of this video. So just click on the link and it will take you straight to the other 2 parts of this little series. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Can't wait to see what you do with these ideas. Bye.